go up to a random lady and say, "Can I get a photo with you?" And she's like, "No, what the f-? And then you get mad at this random lady? Just think about that for a second, okay?
And when you think of like these individuals, because they are individuals, as just a product for consumption, and you take out the humanity aspect of it, their feelings and how they navigate these kind of situations, you approach their treatment with a level of like depraved indifference that I think is kind of like weird.
There are some elements of fame that famous people complain about that I'm like, go f- yourself. Like, you don't have to keep making music. You don't have to keep doing this. And nobody owes you like approval or buying your records or subscribing to your Patreon or any of that stuff. This is a mutually, what do you call it? Mutually like consensual exchange. If Frank Ocean wants to stop making records, if Rihanna wants to stop making records, she doesn't have to. And if people want to stop buying either Daniel Caesar's records, they don't have to. And they don't have to give a reason for either of those. I think that once you start getting into crazy hate comments, stalking, going to people's houses, death threats, all that kind of shit,
it's a red flag.
You know, when the world needed him most, he was nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? The only master of all four elements:
ignorance, racism, blight,
misogyny. Captain Alvin, our powers combined. Well, he's in the building though. He's in the building, so that's good. It's necessary. He's been asleep in an ice cap for the last like week. How you feeling, Alvin? Having thawed out, people missed you.
Warm. I feel warm.
That makes you always know what to say.
Do you mean love, like as in warm, or like literally?
Oh, like
warm?
we've warmed him up. Yeah.
It was a play on the fact of thawing.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to play on your heart. See what I did there?
Yeah. Trying to thaw that heart out. Take it out the freezer. Put it in the sink.
So there's an ice box where that used to be. So.
My nigga, my motherfucking nigga. Let's go.
That's good. Yo, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the number one early 2000s R&B and dating podcast in the universe. It's your boy Eddie. It's Josh. It's the long-awaited but never underappreciated Alvin in the building.
Highly anticipated,
but never. What rhymes with anticipated?
It's often celebrated. Avatar Alvin.
Okay.
Let's go.
There we go. Master of all four elements. All right, let's get into some topicals.
Something like tattoos in the workplace.
Done. All right, let me bring it up.
So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago, and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some automated email. So I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, like you just like don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had like more experience than you. And, you know, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos. She said that wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you want to tattoo the mess out of your face, be my guest. There is no law against inking your neck with demon symbols or scrawling all kinds of occult imagery across your forehead, just like there's no law against putting 40 studs through your cheeks and your lips or dyeing your eyeballs green. If you're a dude who wants to strut around in fishnet stockings, or if you're a woman who wants to dress up like a cat and meow at everybody, that's not illegal. Supremely stupid, but not illegal. But please, for the love of all that is holy, stop demanding that the rest of us accommodate your insanity. You did what you did to be different. Congratulations, mission accomplished. So if TJ Maxx doesn't want you to be the face of their store for their customers, maybe go see if the circus has any openings.
Man, I'm not listening to no lady with a fucking live, love, life, Jesus plaque in the background about nothing to do with life. Me personally.
Like, yeah, it got very brutal and telling. I wouldn't be surprised if she might be at a rally somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You know what I mean?
That's all the wrong energy. I know she be marching. We will not be replaced type shit.
Because I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I was agreeing with her like towards the beginning because because like it's like within working day society, we kind of know like this might not be something I want to do if I want to get a job at XYZ place. Now TJ Maxx would be pretty. It seems like it's pretty low on the pretty low on the tier list of, I guess, jobs. And that's not shaming anybody that work at TJ Maxx whatsoever. Anyone, you know, or any of those
Entry
affiliate
level.
stores.
If you're on the floor,
yeah, kind of entry level type stuff. And the fact that TJ Maxx didn't even like want to take a chance because maybe the outward appearance. And I mean, she was right. Like, I mean, like it is kind of like demon occult like shit, just like all over, which is a little off-putting. I'm pretty sure she's cool as fuck in real life. You know, it's a little off-putting just for the general play. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
But you know, I know sometimes like them really be like some of the coolest motherfuckers like you could actually talk to. So I feel bad, but like, yo, when I was in high school, or like when I started like getting like tattoos and shit, my first tattoo when I was 15, and even growing up and getting more tattoos and like seeing my friends and these niggas getting like neck tattoos at such a young age and like starting getting face tattoos. I'm like, nigga, are you sure you want to do that? Because you know the consequences that might come from it. And luckily enough, one of my homeboys became a tattoo artist. So I mean, he got his whole face inked up. So
easy.
you know, don't matter, goddamn. But we can't sit up here and act like that's not a thing, or like that's not something that you might want, I don't know, maybe be aware of.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all respectability politics. Like, because you can say, because okay, what this reminds me of is because y'all remember I used to have long freeform dreadlocks, so I'm like, that was a thing and I have very respectability politics type parents, grandparents, everybody's, you know, Morehouse, Spelman, college educated types. So that was a very much like a no-no and like a big fighting issue.
Oh wow.
And it never, and that said, it's never caused issues in my professional life. But there are several reasons of privilege and texturism and colorism and all kinds of other shit that's related, that's, you know, in this as well. But my point is, society has also changed, and it doesn't make sense to justify the fact that they weren't wrong to be like, hey, this might impact your ability to be employed. They were right in that. But I think internalizing that as true and justifiable is where we run into an issue. Like, sure, you're right.
Bingo.
Places will discriminate against you, but being like, and they're right to do so. So you should have to conform your body in order to make a living and feed yourself is like a symptom of a broken society. Like, just to take it all the way up to the top. You know what I'm saying?
So I agree with you. I do think that there's oftentimes, and I think it's especially true for Black people, where you're trying to navigate existing in society as it is while often trying to discuss how society should be. So I do understand people doing what they feel like they need to do to exist in a racist, sexist, capitalist society. I understand that that's on some level how people have to navigate in it due to the structures that bear down upon all of us. However, I think that you're absolutely right that discussing it as if like this is something that is how things should be, I think becomes dangerous. And I definitely think it's something that we should move away from. And I also think, to Eddie's point, that the world has moved away from those kind of things. So like, I remember having conversations with family members about like, I wear fucking sweats and sneakers to work. And my father is still very much in this mindset that like, oh, well, professional people wear suits. And I'm like, nobody fucking wears a suit. I had a conversation on just with the suit mod people, because I got a lot of comments just in regards to my take on that perspective, and people are like, oh, well, you know, well, people do this and Mr. Jobby Job man wear suits or whatever. The VPs of my company, and I don't work for a small company. I don't work for you know, I work for a Fortune 10 company or whatever, and they don't wear.
Don't give your shit away, my nigga.
Yeah, they don't
give your shit away. Don't narrow the gap down.
Yeah, they don't wear suits.
Maybe it's jeans and collared shirts most of the time.
They don't even wear shoes. They don't even wear shoes, them people.
Yeah. No, but
I've seen
all
it.
that being said, I do think that the one thing that makes this a much more interesting conversation than just saying like, oh, well, you should be able to do whatever you want is the fact that she has the kind of tattoos that she has, right? So for example, like I'm very pro tattoo. I don't even like, I think people should be able to work in any capacity with any tattoo. But if I'm say like an employer and and somebody comes in with a fucking swastika on their forehead.
Can't defend you on this one, boss.
Well, that's a belief thing. It's not. Yeah. If you come in with a
You know,
swastika on your forehead and you were like, "Nah, I'm fucking Hindu," you know what I'm saying? Then all right, we got to do some research and figure out what's going on there. You might have to wear a hat, my boy, but fair enough.
I actually think that the take that you bring up actually is super relevant to this conversation, given the fact that like the type of tattoo she have could just be associated with the belief system, right? So I think that
She's a pagan.
depending
She's
on
whatever.
yeah, but I do think that the nuance of like what kind of tattoo you has is often lost in the conversation of like the fact of whether or not you should or shouldn't have tattoos is why I just wanted to highlight that one because I do think again it is a legitimate belief system. So I do think that they deserve certain rights and protections, and that extends into like the right and protections of public opinion as well as the legality of it. But I do think that it just brings forward the question of like the type of tattoo matters. Like, should I be able to like have these same sort of arguments, and should we be as progressive as we all know that we want to be in regards to every single form of tattoo? And I think that the answer to that is probably a bit more sliding scale.
Like 4
than people
tattoos
wanna,
you really can't have. Like what? Like besides a swastika, what else tattoo you can't? It's like, yo, I don't want to be around you.
So, when I saw that video, I was thinking like, just in terms of even like having like those blatant like face tattoos, like hell, you could have Jesus is the only way across your forehead, and that shit would still probably cost you. You know,
But if somebody had it on their arm, you wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's different. You can have any because like
I agree, but isn't that interesting?
There are certain jobs that don't allow. And again, I do want to point out that it's a big difference between what a job can ask you to do and what, like, say, the government can and cannot allow you to do. In regards to free speech, because somebody always brings that bullshit up, not understanding the difference. But there are jobs that don't allow Confederate imagery or Confederate sayings or stuff like Dixie and like all that kind of shit. So
okay. Dixie is because I wouldn't have necessarily been like, oh, that's
not specifically. It has to be in the context. But yes, like Confederate imagery and Confederate sayings are prohibited by like a lot of companies.
Yeah, don't tread on me type shit. You know what I'm saying? The snake will
we know
all broke up and stuff. Yeah. When shit is code for stuff, because I'm kind of like I don't have a, unless it's paired specifically with certain beliefs. I'm like, yeah, if you want to have some Southern pride and you just happen to be, a little bit redneck looking, it's like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You want to ride your horse and fucking shoot your cans in your at the pond or whatever the fuck, like, cool, whatever.
Yeah,
but
you know what?
Confederate flag is definitely a line. I think.
And I ain't gonna hold you because I used to go like door to door at my first job out of college. And I would be like in some of the most random, remote neighborhoods. I've dealt with racism. Like I'm in the country. Like if a nigga wanted to kill me, I could have come up missing. They would have never known where the fuck I was at. And I've been like, I've come across some houses who had a big ass Confederate flag. Now, mind you, it's Georgia, and like, you go an hour, 2 hours outside of Atlanta, you never know what the fuck you might find.
Might be a problem.
But like and that was one interesting thing about that job, was it was such an interesting sociological experiment.
I bet.
Is some of the coolest motherfuckers in the neighborhood or like around
had that flag.
Had a Confederate flag, and I'd be like, God damn. And then after a couple of interactions, I'm like, it's a 50-50. He might be cool as shit, or he's gonna be.
You never
racist.
know.
You know what I mean?
See, yeah, my view is like I don't fully dismiss the like, oh, it's not about slavery, it's about culture thing. Like, I think that a lot of people who say that are bullshitting. I think some percentage of them is like, if you really test that against what they believe and how they move, it's like, yeah, no, this is just me identifying with my culture. I'm not from New York. I'm not from Cali. I'm from the rural South, and there's a set of cultural norms within that I want to take pride in. Not that I'm the Confederacy or fighting for slavery or any of those things. I think that is genuinely true among some people. So
I think is there a point something percentage of people that do
you think
that?
It's super small?
I think it's abysmally small. I think it's so small that it's not even a point. Because if that was the matter. Yeah, because if that was the case, like you wouldn't have had you wouldn't have had. You remember when Georgia had just like the blank blue flag and people like were
Yeah.
rallying against that shit? Like if it was just about your culture and like repping where you're from, then that wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
Like it's the fact that you wanted this specific flag. And it
Yeah.
was such a big thing that when they created the current Georgia flag is still based on the old Confederate flag.
It still got a little.
It just
Okay.
no. The whole
yeah.
premise is a Confederate flag. It's a Confederate
Yeah.
flag template. They just took the stars and stripes
Just
off of
the
the
colors
shit.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
What's the Georgia flag? Like, let me look at this shit.
Look at that shit and then look at the original Confederate flag. Look at that shit and then look at the original flag of the Confederacy. They took the Georgia symbol and put the shit on the original Confederate flag, and that was supposed to get rid of the original Georgia flag, which was blatantly a Confederate stars and stripes flag.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at it now because I had actually had no idea what the fuck how a flag looked like now. But yeah, even on Google it says Georgia's flag. Now I'm looking at it, and just based on me looking at it, I'm like, well, that actually doesn't look too the cross, the X shape. Yeah.
Are we talking about the one with the Yeah. Do you think there's any white devil's advocate for a split second? Do you think that there's anything that's saying like do you think there's anything that's saying we're not necessarily identifying with everything that is the history of this thing, but we are trying to capture all of the time that this flag has presided over? So, because when you're trying to create symbols, a new symbol can lose whatever the previous stuff is. So if you're going, look, we're not saying we fuck with the slavery or Jim Crow or any of those things. Again, I'm drawing a long fucking bow with this, but we're not fucking with those things. But we do want to capture a set of history that has a whole bunch of fucking culture. And starting with a new thing feels like modernizing to the loss of all of that culture. Like if you tried to replace the American flag because it's like it did the internment camps and all that kind of shit.
I think that if you are trying to hang on to vestigial things where the entire basis of them was something like slavery, that what you're saying is innately wrong, right? Because everything that they can draw from has roots in slavery. Everything
and now
that they're going to talk about
is from fair. That look, as that white boy said in the classroom, like states' rights to do what? We all know what the fuck the answer to that question is. Do you think that the same thing is true of the American flag? Because I when I think about it, I'm like the American flag, I would say founded, set up on fuck shit from day one.
I think you could very easily draw that thread. Like I think you could very easily put those two together.
But would you?
I think that you could very easily do it. Like
okay. Hypothetically,
I have the same visceral reaction when I'm in rural Georgia and I see 13 stars American flags flying around from an antebellum period or whatever. To kind of just like drive it home, I do think that the meanings of things can change. I mean, the swastika is an example of the meaning of things can change.
Yeah. And
I do think that America has had, like the true American flag has had time to move in a different direction and kind of evolve the symbolism like associated with it. The Confederacy didn't. The Confederacy was built on the foundation of slavery and ended on the foundation of slavery. So what time period does that symbol represent where it was able to evolve past the period of slavery?
The argument would be, though I think it's not a strong argument, so but the argument would be all of the shit past the Confederacy, that the time that has passed since the Confederacy, that people have still been raising that flag, same way as the swastika. It's like you don't judge the swastika based on the fact that it used to be a religious symbol. You know what I mean? You go, they did a whole bunch of shit under this after the fact. So the argument would be whatever was happening in the South between then and now, but that is
under a completely different nation's flag. Yeah, under a completely different nation's flag.
No. But I don't. It's not about nation. It's not about nation state. It's about who is identifying with a flag. Like it's not like symbols are more complex than just whatever nation state exists. Sometimes you have a flag that's being flown by people who don't even have a state, or their state is being occupied or whatever. The flag still exists as a representation of those people. And that would be what the argument for the Confederate flag is. But for the last 100 years or whatever, since the Civil War ended, the shit, it's been lots of bullshit. So it's still an argument that doesn't work, but I just want to clarify what argument it would be.
Yeah. And I do want to circle back because I think we made this a Confederate flag argument when I was actually trying to just talk about like something different. Because like you could take any single like symbol of whatever and just say that certain symbols, if it's tattooed on you, regardless,
it's gonna be an issue.
Just don't fly. So I do think the type of tattoo matters, especially contingent upon like what level of business that you're doing and where you work and what you're doing. I think there are only a few contexts where like I think her specific tattoos would potentially be offensive to the point where like it should be a conversation around employment, but I can 100%, using the Confederate flag as an example, think of things where if it was tattooed on your forehead,
straight up issue.
It would be an issue.
It's a problem.
And it's not because it's not because it's a tattoo, it's what the tattoo is.
Yeah, I think that there are actually several situations where a body modification, clothing, a certain hair color, a piercing could be an issue, especially when it comes to certain client-facing shit. That's a little bit difficult because it's like the company and their customers are kind of different things. And do you hold a company accountable for appeasing its customer base if the customer base is on some bullshit? And ultimately, I think when it comes to the freedom of speech thing, I'm like, and there's a point that I've made before. I think freedom of speech is a principle that we've encoded into law. And so when we talk about freedom of speech, it's more important to talk about the principle than the law. And yes, private organizations aren't obligated to protect freedom of speech. But given the fact that work in order to live is not optional, they do have some obligation to not restrict the bodies of people who must work.
Wouldn't this be more so freedom of expression?
Yeah, freedom of expression. Yeah, I'm just using freedom of speech to
just First Amendment. Yeah,
First Amendment type shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Bodily autonomy, all of that. Like if it's your body, you shouldn't have to modify it in order to feed yourself. Is my stance.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess it's also a thing of like, for the most, you also want to like, because it's also been a long-standing culture of looking presentable, and what presentable looks like, as Alvin stated like earlier, and what you might have been getting at, has changed over time. Because for sure, like when I was getting out of college, like, oh man, you gotta have a suit, you gotta come in with slacks up, button down, and that was like, you don't have to have like suit jacket, and that was like, oh, they kind of like lightening up around here. But shoot, I work in a corporate office, and the dress code has gotten very lax. Sometimes niggas look like they rolled out of bed and came up in this motherfucker, and they are on calls with clients for a very well-known brand.
Yeah. And that's good. That's good. Because what the fuck are we doing? I mean, we could talk about just the self-expression shit, but let's not bullshit. So much of this shit is just straight up racism and sexism, where it's like, women, you have to have this type of clothing and you have to show your legs not this much and definitely this much and wear this type of heel, like crazy shit. And black people, y'all can't have none of that hair that's growing straight out of your head. You can't have nothing that implies any of that. You got to put a wig on that if you're a woman, or you got to fucking shave that shit down. It's just straight up anti-black bullshit. So no locks, no froze.
Unless you got tattoos on your face, apparently.
Nothing. Yeah. I want to get a face tattoo. I feel like I like something tasteful. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Do you even have
I can make that look cute. No, not yet.
I like hand tats. That was my whole thing.
Those are the two ones that I want to get: hand tattoo and a little face tattoo.
Like I would love hand tats, but I'm still ingrained in the if it's a tattoo that you can't hide kind of mentality. I'm trying to break myself of.
Put some gloves on, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, just walk around, just go to the meeting looking like fucking Michael Jackson. Just one glove.
Micro gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be my midlife crisis move. I'm definitely getting full hand and face tats.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Maybe we should do a mid-roll now. Oh, what's up?
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
All right, Alvin, I think you got something to tell it. What's up?
This nigga told me maybe we should do a mid-roll now. Alvin, I think you got something to tell us. Nigga, you already told him what I'm finna do.
Ooh.
That's true. I'm giving a trailer to the trailer.
I know.
My apologies.
Shit. Damn.
I was just looking at the time. I'm not good at a segue. That's never been one of my talents. That's
First of
all, that's a lie.
Quite true, right?
I know this nigga want compliments now. Look at him.
Yeah. No. Well, speaking of things
Have you
that are
ever
true,
thought about
I think
way?
Alvin,
I know.
think
First of all, nigga, I had a segue. Goddamn, God, fuck, man, shit.
I'm not-
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
said-
Oh my fucking
get
God,
it,
bro.
though.
Damn.
Oh my
Your
God,
brother
bro.
the chef when he was cooking.
God damn, man. I had the shit planned. I was
Sorry.
I was in my zone. I was vibing. And then
2
this
chefs are
nigga
better
come
than
through.
3. I'm sorry.
God damn. Fuck. Take the survey. Like, goddamn, since we just getting straight to
Survey.
No, but seriously. Have you
It's
ever
gonna rain.
have you ever wanted to see your boys live? If so, if you've ever thought about that, we are taking a survey, collecting information, not specifically or only about that, but definitely it's something just to gauge interest in terms of how you view your content, demographic information, so that we can better understand our audience, and also again getting a sense of like what you want to see from us, not only in the context of a live, but also just things that you'd like to see in terms of how we evolve our content, how we evolve our brand. It's very useful information, so please make sure that you check that out. Link in the description. I've certainly taken it. I let Eddie know that I wanted us to come to Branson, Missouri. So if you're also willing to have us come to Branson, Missouri, just let us know. Check that out in the comments.
Yeah. This motherfucker trying to prime the results, trying to rig the election.
Ethel, I'm coming, girl. I'm coming.
I got a super eater in goddamn, what was it, Missouri?
I got the eater in Missouri.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to get flew out on the pod dollar. Goddamn. Real shit.
Having an eater in Branson, Missouri is insane. Or is it?
I don't know if anybody's ever been to Branson, Missouri. That seems like something that somebody made up on The Simpsons. So I'm just trying to see if it's a real place, honestly.
Okay.
Oh, you about to see if it's a real place. All right.
Hope it's everything you dreamed.
Exactly.
Indeed. Also about the card game. There we go. Boom. Mid-roll.
Mid-roll completed.
Patreon. All that. Done.
Boom. Spotify. Please subscribe. Like, subscribe, comment.
We appreciate y'all's support. Thank you as always.
Very much so.
I had a better segue. I promise to God. I swear.
Yeah, no, hey, look, put it on me. Blame it on me.
I already did.
Are we still segue? Are we still segue?
Well, kind of.
Okay. Am I supposed to say something?
Just go with it, Josh.
You know what I'm saying?
We're fucking riffing. Let's go, man.
Oh, okay. Well,
comedy comes in threes. Nigga. Like, let's go. Come on. Like,
I'm motherfucking doing like this shit when you
We're
try
double
to get
dutching?
the double dutch.
Yeah, double dutch. I think Josh got some real funny stuff to let us know. Some real light.
Well, last time on Waving the Red Flag.
Oh, previously we fucking
Previous.
goddamn.
The gang fucked up.
Holy shit! Yeah, the gang put every foot they could find in there directly in their mouth.
Oh shit! But while we are laughing at it, we definitely do understand the depth and the criticism and seriousness of some of the things we said and how it came across. And we had on some real shit. All three of us had a long conversation before this pod, but just know criticism taken. Take that shit on the chin. There was like one comment I know that had me like, oh damn, okay, wow, blind spot there. Okay, I get it. So
Sure.
Oh my God, I forgot my words.
Type shit. Sorry.
Type shit. Y'all know I ain't got as many.
You already know what it is.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like yeah, you know what I'm saying. Nothing is ever said in ever said in like bad faith or intentional bad taste. So.
Hey, don't worry, people. We got Alvin back in the booth. You know what I'm saying? So we got qualified pushback agents. So
A pushback agent. Niggas on payroll for being a pushback.
That's what he's paid for. It says that on his paychecks. He had to get the pushback. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's just Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here, fucking giving half takes.
Got with some butthead.
Cool. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, that's all I got.
All right.
What do y'all think about is fame an abusive husband in terms of in reference to Chappell Roan, who has found herself in the spotlight of stardom and not liking how that shit looks.
Chappell Roan. How you say her name?
I didn't even know who the hell Chappell Roan was.
She's like a musician, but she's like super gay and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's part of the brand, is what I'm saying. It's part of her thing.
What?
It's like she's
What are y'all
she's a queer artist. It's
What
a
are
big
y'all niggas
part of her
doing?
shit.
We
just immediately fucked it up right after the like.
I didn't do shit. I was like, oh, what am I supposed to say to that?
We don't put foot in our mouth. We don't want to say anything fucked up. No, I'm
Oh
just
my
saying
God,
that's
bro.
true. That's
I
what
didn't do shit.
she's specific. What did I say crazy? She specifically is a queer artist that's like core to her identity. Drag like aesthetics are a big part of her shit. Like, what's going on?
Okay, now you saying it better, nigga. Like, don't pretend like you just like, oh, man, she's like super gay or whatever. And then this nigga Josh was like, oh, because he was.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to tell the truth. And people don't like it. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, no,
Y'all
I just found out about this young lady
yeah.
a couple weeks ago when she was, when she was talking about like, the price of fame and how she's been dealing with it and like the shit she's come across. But yeah.
Yeah, she said, I feel like fame is just abusive. The vibe of this stalking, talking shit online, people won't leave you alone, yelling at you in public is the vibe of like an abusive ex-husband, or at least that's what it feels like. And I didn't know that it would feel this bad, she says. And I'm like, that, because there was a moment where she was like on the red carpet and the audience or whatever was saying some shit to her where they were like, let me see if it's in here. But they were saying something to her. Where they were like, hey, Chappell, you move here, do this, get out of the way. She was like, yo, leave me the fuck alone. Shut the fuck up. Like, this is like, why are you barking at me like I'm a dog? You know what I'm saying? Like, move me all around this shit.
Well, I'm not gonna hold you. That might not have been the best example because that's literally what the red carpet is.
They said something that was fucked up to her. I can't remember exactly what it was. They said something that was crazy.
But no, I point totally taken because this whole like fame shit. Because I mean, I know a lot of people would rather have the money versus the fame because like we all understand like what fame can get you. And I mean, many of other artists have like talked about it. Doja Cat and like so many like people like Martin Lawrence have like seem to have gone crazy because of like fame being so public and then like having all these eyes on you all the fucking time. It's only like I really think it's only like it's only a handful of people that really love fame, like that really built for fame. The rest of them just kind of manage it as best they can. I feel like
who's built for it?
Nigga like Drake.
Yeah.
He likes being famous. And I'm not even taking that as a Kendrick Lamar bar.
Yeah, he don't mind paparazzi, none of that. He's happy to just be as relevant as possible. I think. I feel like Obama, maybe. But maybe not, because he keep a lot of shit private, low key.
Yeah, because like, and even like someone like Beyonce, like she's ducked off most of the time until it's time for her to pop out. Like I don't think she really, but that's another conversation.
We don't see her at all.
Mm-mm.
You've never seen her eating breakfast.
Not at all, unless it's at a Rock Nation brunch, or she's promoting her cognac, or is it? No, it's a whiskey. Sir Daniel. What's the name of it, Alvin? You know,
Sir Davis.
Sir Davis. I actually had some.
That's crazy. Okay,
shit is pretty fucking good. Not gonna hold you. The hype.
We got to get an alcohol sponsor between y'all two because that's crazy. We just giving way too much free clout.
Oh yeah, you're right, man. She don't need fuck all that. Yeah.
She's a billionaire.
I know. Now Josh getting counseled again from a different group. You see that shit?
Damn.
All I said was she
motherfucker co-signing billionaires.
I know.
Oh damn. Oh fuck.
He said fuck all that right after he talked about Sir Davis. I don't know. Beehive coming at him. The leftist
anti-Beyonce and pro-billionaire. No.
Don't make me do the foo-hot goddamn shoulder.
the twiddle the thumbs. Nah, let's not. We can't. Let's not make. You know what I'm saying?
I felt that was appropriate. But
what?
No, but
going off the rails.
I agree with you, Josh. Like in terms of fame, like legitimately.
Yeah, it's not. It's like such polar opposites, right? Because like on one end, you have all this clout, you have all this access to people, like your reputation can precede you. And that gets you access into like so many different doors and areas that normal people would not be able to get to. So that does boost and enhance your life in ways. But when it turned bad and like you can't even live like a normal person no more, I question if it's even worth it. I would definitely rather be rich than versus being famous. Because I think we really take that shit for granted. Just the privacy of having our own privacy and being able to move in anonymity. I really don't think we understand how valuable that is until you don't have that anymore.
No, no, because even like, because we have like a tiny, tiny little platform right now. I feel like even that, you kind of feel a little bit of like, oh shit, somebody's perceiving me. This is like kind of weird, like, and you can't control what degree of involvement, people who are interested in what you do have in your life. Like, because fame is just a totally different fucking monster than it used to be. You know what I'm saying? People are following you on Instagram, people seeing you out in public. Then there's the paparazzi machine. Then there's the TV, so it's like that old school, like to be a Denzel celebrity, where it's like we see you when you're in movies or at events and we don't know shit else about your life. Most people aren't experiencing that. Especially you go online and you go, okay, cool, I'm going to go live and I want to talk about something. Talk to us about Palestine. Oh shit, fuck, I'm a 17-year-old rapper. I don't even know what that is. Like, there's just so much more to being a public figure than there was in the past, and that's difficult. And then if you're a woman too, I feel like then there's like crazy stalking and death threat, just wild shit. Like,
like niggas be crazy.
I do still sometimes catch myself being like, who are these niggas? Like, how do you rationalize? Because some crazy behavior, I see it and I'm like, okay, I understand how a normal person went astray and did something crazy. But some of them, it's like, how are you watching that Romeo and Juliet thing? And the actress or the actor who played Juliet, she was like, people sent her death threats just for having been cast in the play opposite to Tom Holland. What's going on? Like, die.
Like, yeah.
Just because we don't think you're the right level of beauty or race to play this role, which is like just levels of fucked up. So I don't know who are because these people they're not internet people. That's somebody on a phone typing that shit among us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's real motherfuckers. But I think that's also like a thing of what you do in the dark. It's like no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know this is me. Like
yeah,
this is like a one comment in the sea of many. I can just get off some sick shit real quick, and that shit is it's quite sickening because like I feel like if sometimes I really, what we should invent like some sort of technology to trace a motherfucker like some real
CIA
fucked
been
up
had
shit.
that
It's
shit.
like if you type in fucked up shit to people on the internet, threatening people like celebrities and like you should die, like sending death threats. There was a way to just reach through your phone and kill a nigga. I mean, not kill a nigga, but you know what I mean. Like just reach
blow
through
his
your phone
phone
and
up,
just real quick.
IDF style, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just some sort of consequence.
Like if you could make the phone heat up real hot for just like 2-3 seconds, just burn their hand a little bit. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they send it, oh shit, not gonna do that again. Now they found out who I was. I think we can invent that technology.
Yeah, I think the thing that gets me with fame is how many people have this view where they've commoditized like the person where they're just a product, right? And when you think of like these individuals, because they are individuals, as just a product for consumption, and you take out the humanity aspect of it, their feelings and how they navigate these kind of situations, you approach their treatment with a level of like depraved indifference that I think is kind of like weird, right? Like,
what they did Britney Spears was crazy.
Exactly, and
like, yeah,
exactly, and it's like all that ultimately culminates into this belief that like you can do whatever to this person because they've from the perspective of the non-famous people, they've gotten so much more out of this deal, right? Like they've got
than us,
they've gotten some money, they've gotten some clout. To Josh's point, they've gotten some access potentially, and it's like they're a product for consumption, and now I can just like treat them like pieces of shit because they're no longer people, they're a product. Or if I get to the point where like they are a person, they're a person that is now rich and famous, and they got all this money off of all these people or whatever, so and now they're fuck them. Their feelings no longer matter. And I think that the level of anymore. Exactly, the level of dehumanization of it is probably the most like depraved and like dystopian kind of part of it.
Part of me is like, there are some elements of fame that famous people complain about that I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, you don't have to keep making music. You don't have to keep doing this. And nobody owes you like approval or buying your records or subscribing to your Patreon or any of that stuff. This is a mutually, what do you call it? Mutually like consensual exchange. So if people
Mutually
want to
beneficial.
say mutually beneficial, well, yeah, beneficial, but also like it's mutually like if you want to stop or if we want to stop at any time, either party can. There's no obligation on either side. If Frank Ocean wants to stop making records, if Rihanna wants to stop making records, she doesn't have to. And if people want to stop buying either Daniel Caesar's records, they don't have to. And they don't have to give a reason for either of those for the most part. So I'm kind of like, some of the shit that I hear famous people complaining about, I'm like, baby, nobody owes you liking what you say. Nobody owes you not being mad at you for what the fuck you said.
Yeah.
Or if they're like, hey, we don't like this album, we want you to make the old shit that you made. They're allowed to say that. I think that once you start getting into crazy hate comments, stalking, going to people's houses, death threats, all that kind of shit, or things that are around like publicly humiliating them, you know what I'm saying? So interview questions that are like, oh, what's that pussy do? What's that penis do? Let's, or like when they have the male celebrities, they have Henry Cavill read out 17 different disgusting fucking tweets of what women want to do to him type shit. I'm like, this is weird. Like, but we don't have to go see his movies.
I agree with you on that, but I guess at the same time too, it's like when you get so much of it, and if you're exposed to so much of it, I can see how that could fuck with any person. Even like when the small, even the small stuff. It's like the saying like the straw that broke the camel back.
Yeah,
it's like it's not always just that one most obvious thing that we think, but there's like a ton of shit that's going on, like could be going on in their life, even if they might be living life at a more elevated level of opulence than that we do not have access to. The brain works in crazy ways because like just okay, if I can make like a correlation real quick. So you ever remember a time where you might have been making like $25,000? You think to yourself, damn, if I can make 50, I'll be straight. You make 50, you're like, fuck, I need to make 80. If I can make 80, then I'll really be straight. Damn, I'm making 80. Now I need to make 150. So it's like, even if you get to that level, it's like your brain can like adjust in a different way. You get used to like, I don't know, spending a certain amount of money or just like being at a certain level. It's like, okay, well, this is what this looks like. I didn't quite count on it looking like this because I still am vulnerable and I'm still human and things still affect me, like regardless of how much money I got. And I like celebrities that be like, oh yeah, that are very aware that they live a privileged life and like speak on that. Being like, sometimes like niggas just shut the fuck up. Like, you just got to take it. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
It's worse things, but I can understand like how some people, it could affect some people,
I think I guess it's like, my main thing is if the thing that is bothering you is just that people aren't feeding you the love that you entered into the industry to receive, I'm kind of like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about when Kumail Nanjiani was like talking about the reception of like Eternals or whatever. And he was like, when people didn't like it, I was like, I couldn't eat for weeks. I felt so terrible how bad the reviews were. I was like, and I'm like, that's fair. That's human. You're entitled to that. And you can talk to your family about that and your therapist about that and where that lies within your life and how you want to get through that. Because that sucks. Bad things happen sometimes. Like when somebody breaks up with you. But no one owes you liking your movie. And nothing bad happened to you. And if being in blockbusters that open you up to your art being criticized at a high level really fucks with your soul, maybe you're not built for that. And that's okay. You go, hey, look, I'm not, because I don't think that you get to say, hey, I would really love to have 1 million people love what I do and also not be prepared for 1 million people to not like it. I don't think that you should bother entering into it. And you certainly shouldn't act like the 1 million people who didn't like it or have done a crime to you.
I do want to give one caveat, and I want to say that I think your point is I think largely accurate. I do think that when you're also talking about people, and I'm gonna give a caveat, and then I'm gonna give a caveat to my caveat. I do think that a lot of times, I harken back to Ryan Reynolds did an interview about Fantastic Four, the one with Miles Teller and
wait, he did an interview
Michael B.
about
Jordan.
the movie he wasn't in?
Well, he didn't do an interview about it. He did an interview about superhero films, and that one got brought up.
Okay,
because he had been in multiple superheroes, and he had played in, at that point he had been Green Lantern, and
Green
he had been
Lantern,
Deadpool
fucking
in
Deadpool.
in Wolverine Origins at least. And his worry, because this was also, this came out, it bombed, and it was absolutely terrible. Like, I saw the movie in theaters, like the reviews were horrible all around. And his comment was something to the effect of, he worried about the actors and actresses involved with it, and he was like, Miles Teller would be fine, and he was like, I don't know about Michael B. Jordan, effectively. That's basically what he said. So when I think about minorities in that space, when they have a bomb, and studios start thinking about like, oh, is this one of the bankable minorities, and how it impacts their livelihood and their ability to do things that they truly enjoy and all that kind of stuff. I do think that adds a level of complexity to it. But the caveat to my caveat, is something that you said earlier, is that they don't have to do that, right? There's a lot of ways to make a living. There's a lot of ways to provide. You don't have to do that. But at the same time, I do understand. Promotion. Exactly. I do. 100%. So you're ultimately right.
Many times. I'm like, I don't want that job.
Yeah. Your point is 100% accurate. But I do think that sometimes they're thinking about like, well, this is my craft. This is what I want to do. I want to work in this industry, and this may impact my ability to do that. Which is why I think this isn't something that you divorced from your take, but I just want to bring it back to the fact that like these are people, and people have desires, and now they have to move through that kind of situation.
My main pushback to that would be that I think that a lot of creatives have a lot of choice around like breadth, not just like height. So I agree. You shouldn't have to be in a position where you're like, I guess I can't be an actor. It's like, no, Kumail, you can be in as many A24 fucking movies as you want, dog. If you want to be in a Marvel movie, it's going to be millions of eyes on you. So you don't have to give up your craft, but it's like you made a choice that you wanted to go big instead of go wide. And there's lots of actors who have made the choice that like, I don't want to go big. I don't want to do a bunch of blockbusters. I want to do a bunch of cool indie projects. That's what I'm working on right now. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, what's the old boy's name? Robert Pattinson this motherfucker's done like 70 goddamn indie movies.
After he was worth $80 million. After he was worth $80 million, right? So it's fair. You know.
But also, you don't have to be worth $80 million to be but like most actors.
True, that's the caveat to my caveat, right? And I think that your point still stands despite the caveat and the caveat to the caveat. I think you're right.
I still just think that, I'm not a big fan of you don't have to do this. Also, with, understand like the caveats, with
to the caveats.
Yeah, the caveats and stuff. But because it's like, if that's what you really enjoy doing, even at a smaller level, but hey, maybe you want to be at the bigger level. And when you put like genuine passion, blood, sweat, and tears and effort into it, and it's not received well, I'm not sure if this is what you're saying, Eddie, but like, if you put that much effort into something, that much hard work into something, like I know people like it looks like super glamorous, but I have worked on set, and that shit, you gotta love your damn job, okay? Because I have that, and you have worked on set too, and that it's not all as it's cracked up to be all the time. So I can't be mad at a person to a certain point, to a certain extent, and that might have been like where your caveat was.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, where your line was. If they're like disappointed in how it's received.
No, you can be disappointed 100%.
Yeah.
You can be heartbroken. If your girl breaks up with you, or a woman breaks up with you because she don't love you no more, and you got every right in the world to process that and mourn that relationship and be sad as fuck. She did not do something wrong to you. That's my main point. And I'm like, I feel like when it comes to a movie, okay, so for instance, this is something Jackie Chan said. He was like, when you make a movie and you maybe take your friend to go see it, or you're thinking before you put it out in the theaters or whatever, you're like, oh, it was raining on that day, so we couldn't do that. And we had $1 million left in the thing. So I just want everybody to have that context when they watch this. Nobody's getting that context. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. Like,
you decided you wanted to make a movie. Here's the movie that you gave. People judge it on, it doesn't matter how much hard work you put into it. No one gives a fuck, and they shouldn't. You don't understand. I'm paying money to see your movie. We're not friends. You want money from 1 million different people who you don't know. We have no obligation to sit up here and be like, oh, good job. That's something that your mom does for you, or your friend does for you. You know what I'm saying? If you you worked really hard to put a birthday together for your homie, cool. Give it with grace. But if you worked your ass off to make a product and it turned out like bullshit, sorry, baby. Tomato, tomato, tomato. We can't help you. And that's just par for the course. And I say that as a person who, I mean, we make a podcast. If people don't like it, we either adjust or we go, all right, fair enough. You know what I'm saying? It's y'all are the authority on whether the shit is good. Like, I can't decide that based on how much work I put into it.
Mm.
Yeah, and driving home the same point, like there will be some people that are gonna like respect the craft and watch it for the craft. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
like there's going to be some percentage of
I'm
that
not
people,
one of those,
but that's not antithetical. That literally just drives home your point, right? It's like people have the choice, the option to interact with that media in the way that they choose to, even if that choice is respecting it for some like nuance kind of niche reason, or completely skipping it at all. They have no obligation to do those kind of things. So I think you're fairly spot on with this one.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's like conceptual, that kind of shit. I think we can. Is there one more, Josh, that you wanted to hit?
It's that last one is too long. It was like that am I the asshole, the Reddit one. That's too. I think it's too long.
Yeah.
Because that shit was kind of funny. We got to get to that one day. I thought that shit was kind of funny.
Which one is? Oh, for blocking my girlfriend when she broke up with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Well, look, folks, if you see somebody coming with a swastika tattooed onto their forehead coming in to apply for a job, you might be seeing a red flag. But at the same time, if you think that people owe you their hard-earned dollars for your creative project just because you try it real hard, it might be you just waving a red flag. There's been Waving a Red Flag podcast. It's been Eddie. It's been Josh. It's been Alvin. Sign up for membership on Patreon, Spotify, or YouTube if you want access to all of our bonus content, our Discord channel, and all that good stuff. Cop the It's a Red Flag card game. You know what I'm saying? If you want to spice up your next dinner party. And obviously, check out the live event survey in the description right now if you want to help us putting that together. It's been the show. We'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for rocking with us.
1,000,000%.